Greetings the world of the internet. I am the great Matthew Squeak and welcome to Squirrel Talk Review. Today we're looking at the show from my childhood, and oh what an excellent treat it shall be. It's a show about the boy who gets a pair of magical fairy godparents that can grant any wish he so desires, and what do you mean that it just aired? This show ended years ago. Or at least, it should have.
Timmy's still an average kid that no one understands.
Now, there is quite a bit of difference in opinions of when the show should have actually stopped. Should it have stopped at the musicals? Should it have stopped with Poof? I personally agree with the people that say that this was probably drawing the line. But no, it keeps going, and to keep the show fresh, it introduces this complete abomination of a character. But this damn dog didn't drop the ratings enough for them to realize that they jumped the shark, so now we're introducing a new character to save the show and turn it completely topsy-turvy. This is the Big Fairy Share Scare. We may as well start off with the last bit of integrity this show has had over the years, the opening.
Chloe's his new neighbor and she's ruining all his plans.
What? They changed the opening! And it sounds like that they are missing most of the choir that are supposed to be singing the song. So even the choir is abandoning this ship. Not only that, but the entire thing is just shoving their new character down the show's throat. They really want you to like this character.
It's what the network wants. Why bother to complain?
So they start off by rehashing jokes they've done thousands of times before.
Bored? Wouldn't it be smarter just to listen and actually learn something?
And I mean barely doing that.
Cosmo, you hit the awkward grade school dance button!
Oh, this scene is so stale you can smell it through the screen! That is much better.
Morning, Mr. Crocker.
Well, it was, but it's ruined now because you're here, Turner.
A potato bug has 12 eyes. Cabbage patch, shopping cart, hokey pokey.
I don't have time for your nutsy dance fever right now, Turner.
Shouldn't you be noticing that that isn't the real Timmy Turner? You are always suspicious of everything the Timmy Turner does. I guess Mr. Crocker doesn't care about the show anymore either. And he further demonstrates this by...
You could have been a doctor! And you could have been a lot more patient! Get it? Doctor, patient? That's talk show humor!
Saying something is funny doesn't automatically make it funny. This is really over the top, and that is coming from a show about magic fairies. I already hate this episode, and we haven't even introduced a new character yet. Ugh, speaking of which...
Or the new gal!
Thank you, Mr. Crocker, but I think the crown's a little over the top.
Yes it is.
Without further ado, I give you the perfect human, Chloe Carmichael!
Hi, everyone. That was just some stuff I did. No big deal. I'll just take my seat now.
They really want you to like this character.
Don't sit too close to Turner. His astounding lameness may rub off on you.
And now for the first funny moment of this episode.
Eject, eject.
It's the ultimate nightmare scenario! Turner's multiplying!
This could have been really funny if they had played with the concept a little bit more. But let's face it, they've already done that a zillion times, and this episode needs to force Chloe down our throat some more.
I have to say, that Chloe is pretty impressive.
Yeah, she's pretty sharp. Speaking of sharp, my point's a little dull.
Is it just me, or is the green one extra stupid now? Like uncomfortable levels of stupid. Doesn't last long though. This episode has the attention span of a goldfish. Time to shove Chloe down our throat some more.
We love Chloe! We love Chloe!
Hey, everyone. You want to come over to my house and see my exotic animals I rescued from poachers? I've got lemon squares and gift certificates for everybody!
Please like our character. Big silence! These levels of begging and pleading for us to like this character does not make us like them. It makes us hate them. And this is not a good way to start a new character.
Oh, I love Chloe! I love Chloe!
And now, for the final funny moment of this episode.
You crazy, Timmy? This beautiful woman is not your mother.
It is me, dear. Chloe gave me a gift certificate for a makeover. Do you like my new look?
Yes, I do. But don't tell my wife.
I am your wife.
Be gone, you evil temptress. You are giving me the tingles.
Yes, that makes the whopping 2 things actually funny in this episode. The show continues to do absolutely nothing but tell us exactly how great their new character is. Could something actually happen? Please?
Surprise, Timmy Turner!
Gee, I wonder what Jorgen is going to say.
Turner, you have to share your theories with another fairy god kid.
I have to shoot.
Timmy Turner cannot say the word share because, I don't know, they need something to keep this going. And big surprise, the kid he is sharing the fairies with is Chloe. I never would have guessed.
Well, duh.
Timmy Turner shows most of our reactions upon hearing that this show is actually still making episodes.
And I don't get it! Everything about Chloe is perfect! Why does she even need fairies?
That is an excellent point. Why does the Chloe need fairies? She has a whole pack of rescued animals. She's a great cook. She's friends with the president. And rich. Why does she need fairies? Fairies are given to children who are unhappy and miserable for being terrorized by Vicky. Does this girl look miserable and unhappy?
There is a reason for everything, Turner.
Furthermore, when they go to break the news to Chloe, we see that she has a telescope, a rock wall in the room, and all kinds of awards on the wall. Why does this kid need fairy godparents again?
There is a reason for everything, Turner.
Okay, this is a dream, right? But if it is a dream, you wouldn't know because you'd just be part of the dream. And I'd be talking to my imagination, which is crazy. Am I crazy?
Be silent, you annoying piece of animation! So Cosmo and Wanda introduce themselves.
Excuse me, I need a moment alone.
You just did that joke, and it wasn't that funny the first time. And finally, we get to the moral of the episode. Sharing, because sharing is good.
You gotta share, you gotta care. Shouldn't I share them? Oh, come on!
You are sharing them with Turner.
This show used to have good morals, disguised amongst its humor. Now it doesn't have humor, and its morals are as forced as this new character. Well, we've been focused on this topic for far too long. Time to cut to something completely random.
I wish I was as far away from Chloe as possible! Where are we?
Center of the Earth, Timmy.
Wouldn't the other side of the Earth be farther away than the center of it? Why am I arguing logic with this thing? The show continues to do nothing. Wanda and Cosmo abandon Timmy Turner, their fairy god kid, as he is about to be eaten. So Timmy just climbs out of a manhole. I thought you were in the center of the Earth. And what is up with the fairies abandoning their god kid? That's how you get fired from the fairy godparent business. So after that bit of nothingness, we come back to the plot, only to immediately go back into more nothingness. Not the same nothingness, this is completely different nothingness.
Cosmo, Wanda! I wish there was no such thing as Fridays!
Why are you in this plot? Can the show just pick a plot line and stick with it? The wish to make Fridays go away causes the anti-fairies to attack because...
Every Friday, the big wand in fairy world gets recharged, and its power protects Dimsdale from the anti-fairies. Now that Fridays don't exist, the wand hasn't been charged.
And so all of this happens immediately. Normally, and I'm talking about back when these episodes were actually good, this would be a slow process. Timmy Turner would immediately get whatever he wished for. The consequences of that wish would not rear their ugly heads until later on in the episode, and force Timmy Turner to reconsider why he made that wish in the first place. But you know what? Remember when I said that this was just more nothingness? Well, that's because just as soon as all this happens, Jorgen comes back in and fixes everything. Just like that. What was the point of any of that but to waste time?
Secondly, Turner, you need to accept the fact that you are sharing your fairies, or you can revisit your little furry friends.
No, not plot number 4.
Okay, fine. I'll do the thing I can't say.
But since this show cannot stay focused for long,
I wish for a fairy bot that will do all the stuff I don't want to do.
Hello, Timmy Turner. I am Fairybot.
I would complain that the guy playing the robot wasn't trying, but I can't blame him. I wouldn't try if I was in this mess. Just add voice actors to the list of people that don't care about this show anymore. So plot number 7 drags Timmy away, so that plot number 5 can finally continue.
I wish everyone in Dimsdale would share everything.
Aw, that's lovely, Chloe. A wish that will make the world a better place.
I have a sudden notion to share my screen time with another source attempting to sell you things. Ugh, stupid fairies and their magics. Vicky comes into the plot for no reason. Plot 7 ends just as soon as it began, and finally we see the repercussions of Chloe's wish. Sharing, stealing in the name of sharing, not much of a difference, right? Of course not! This is blown uncomfortably out of proportion. Sharing is splitting a soda with your buddies, scooping out an extra plate of pasta for a house guest, not giving away your possessions. Furthermore, that doesn't mean helping yourself to anything someone else has in the name of sharing. Sharing, even when encouraged, is still an optional thing. I am under no obligation to share my popcorns with anyone. So how long will this plot go on for? With the goldfish attention span this thing has, I'm still betting that it'll switch to something else. It is not until someone shares Chloe's house that she agrees to unwish the wish. But plot number 4 comes back in to make the show go on longer. So we have a moment and...
See? I tried too hard to fix things and I end up annoying people, destroying cities, and then no one wants to be my friend.
That's the reason you need fairies? Someone who tries too hard and winds up destroying cities? I thought the president was your friend. And you do not need fairies to help you try less to be perfect. It is official. The whole purpose of this character being added to the show does not work. Well, now that everyone are friends, it is time for our main characters to do the same thing that they have done in hundreds of other episodes prior. Get the wands back to unwish the wish.
Ooh, I'm coming, Timmy! Boy, that's a long way down. I better energize myself with a healthy snack. Ooh, kale's a superfood.
You are now officially annoying! It was annoying how you were forced on this show, but you have crossed the line into being an actual annoying character.
Don't cry, Timmy. I've gotcha. I'm not crying. Someone must be peeling it on you down here.
That is not funny unless you actually cut to it. They get the wands back and unwish the wish. Oh, come on! Stop stalling and end the episode! We get another moment from his parents and...
You know what? I think I'm officially done with wishes. You can have your fairies back, Timmy.
You mean Chloe isn't going to be part of the show? Of course not. They didn't spend the last 22 minutes shoving this character up our arses just to have her leave. And their final desperate attempt of the joke summarizes everything annoying about people obsessed with their phones. And it is over. And boy, this is monumentally bad. How bad, you might ask? will allow me to elaborate with a little story. As I was getting ready to view this episode for the first time, I took note that the character Sparky wasn't in it, and at which point I jotted down my first joke for the show. And that would have been a silver lining sort of thing, that this damn dog wasn't in it. I would shout and use a fire sound effect over Sparky, but I can't do that! This episode is so bad, it is worse, however unbelievable that may be, than anything that Sparky has been in. Story. Plot. What story? What plot? I have seen goldfish with longer attention spans. The characters are hollowed out dead, empty husks of what they once were. The humor is almost non-existent in this thing. When your comedy show isn't funny, it's annoying. But the worst thing is, this piece of garbage is just one long attempt to force us to like this character that nobody wanted. How is this show still making episodes? Nobody liked this character, and now we want to add this one to the mix. And what's more, no one in the creation process even cares anymore. The writers don't care. The voice actors do not care. The animators do not care. Who is that one corporate executive that actually thinks that this show needs to keep going? Now, would somebody please give him a good beating? This show, which was great once upon a time, needs to be put out of its misery before it gets worse. And oh yes, it can get worse. How do I know that? Because I thought it couldn't get any worse when they introduced this abomination of a character. So bring this show to its end. I am the great Matthew Squeak, and this is Squirrel Talk Review.
Timmy's still an average kid that no one